In the beginning there was only darkness. There were no trees, no turtles, and no tiny bees. Then God said, "Let there be light."
There was evening and morning, the first day, and God saw that it was very good.
Then God said, "Let there be sky."
There was evening and morning, the second day, and God saw that it was very good.
God said, "Let there be land and seas under the sky. Let the earth put forth fruits and vegetables."
There was evening and morning, the third day, and God saw that it was very good.
God said, "Let the sky be filled with lights, light of the sun, the moon, and the stars."
There was evening and morning, the fourth day, and God saw that it was very good.
Then God said, "Let there be fish in the water and birds in the sky." And so it was.
There was evening and morning, the fifth day, and God saw that it was very good.
God said, "Let there be creatures of every kind." Then God said, "Let us make people to care for the earth."
There was evening and morning, the sixth day, and God saw that everything was very, very good.
On the seventh day, God rested. God blessed the earth with sea and sky and light, with plants and animal and people.
And God saw that everything was very, very good.
This is the word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
I'll stay right here. I don't have my pages.
Today, we celebrate part of what is very, very good in God's creation. The gifts of our children, the gifts of our nonagenarians, and the gift of the intergenerational community that gathers here at Northridge Presbyterian Church. This is a place where people of all ages gather together for worship and play, for friendship, learning, and laughter. I do believe that when churches are at their very best, children become friends with adults, and adults choose to listen to the wisdom of our children. We create a space where we can both learn from each other and respect each other. We create space for our kids to take a chance, share who they are with us, and show us the way. I have witnessed some of the most genuine exchanges between adults and children who are not related here in this place. Kids excited to hug an adult teacher that they haven't seen in a few weeks. A child who brings something special to show an adult at church because they know that this person is interested in their life. A child who wants to pass out candy to all of their adult friends at church. I've seen adults spend much of their own free time cutting pieces of tissue paper for a special craft, or spending their own money to make bird feeders for a lesson. I've seen kids draw a picture for a particular adult who made them feel special, included, and valued. And I've seen adults who give a helping hand to a child that they don't even know by name, because this is a place where you can do that. I am grateful to be part of such a church community where all children, including my own, are encouraged to find their place. We want children to be in worship with us. We want to teach them the faith that was passed on to us. We want to honor our baptismal vows, to nurture our children in the faith, and help them know that they belong to God and are meant to serve God and God's purposes in the world. Today, I'm especially grateful to be up here today with one of our older kids who spent some time reflecting on our scripture passage today, and I want to invite him to share some of his own thoughts with you.
Hi, my name is Lucas Bell, and I'm a fourth grader at Lakewood Elementary School. I'm 9 years old, and I've been at Northridge for 3 years. I like being a part of the Northridge community because it's fun to connect with other people in worship and connection hour. When I read the passage in Genesis about God creating the whole world and all living things, I noticed God wanted the humans to thrive. God wanted what was best for us in all of creation. Each and everything God created was a gift. From the land we can walk on, to the plants and animals that provide food for us, to the air we breathe, and to the materials we use to build homes and schools. All parts of creation are connected and support each other.
Lucas, I'm impressed you noticed a lot of the gifts in the story from Genesis. This story of creation is the very beginning of the story of God, and it was passed down orally from generation to generation before it was ever recorded in Hebrew. This story of creation is poetic and rhythmic, and it tells us about God, the one who created each part of the heavens and earth, the one who created humankind in God's own image, the one who gifts humans with creation, the one who then entrusts us with the responsibility to keep and care for the creation of God. Lucas, I'll ask you, what are the gifts of creation that you appreciate the most?
In my own life, I'm grateful for food to grow and thrive, for school to learn and be challenged. Just as God called all the parts of creation very good, I can call food and school very good.
That's wonderful. I don't know if all kids would call school very good, but I'm glad that you have noticed there's something wonderful about school. I myself have always been amazed by the part of creation that's up in the sky, the sun, the moon, and the stars. But you also make a very good point about food. I am grateful for the incredible variety of foods that God provides for us. It is very good indeed. Okay, so is that the whole story of creation?
No. All that we have comes from the work God did during the 6 days of creation. But on the seventh day, God rested from all he had done. We call this day of rest the Sabbath, which comes from the Hebrew word Shabbat, which means rest or cessation. The call to observe Sabbath is a call to cease from work. When we observe the Sabbath, we have time and space to learn about God, to connect with our Creator. Sabbath gives us time to remember what God has done for us.
Those are very wise words. Sabbath gives us time to remember what God has done for us. That's another gift, isn't it? The gift of rest. I think this Genesis story is a reminder of what is true. In the rhythms of life, both creative work and rest are essential. Without Sabbath or rest from our working, it would be easy to forget what God has done and what God is doing for us. I'd like to share some words with you all from a prayer written by Micah Boyett, who is an author, speaker, podcaster, and part-time youth pastor. Boyett lists some of the things that take up our time as parents or adults: meetings, emails, PTA, a neck or backache, a whining child, a car leaking oil, head lice, the sheets to wash, the groceries to buy, the dinner to make. And then Boyett prays, God, teach us to pause, to tuck ourselves into the curve of your slow arm, that we may know the miracle of now, the gift of this moment. you beside and beyond us, welcoming us outside of all we measure and standing with us in it. May we see the goodness of our still hours and days, sunrises, sunsets, and the darkness where our rest is found. Order us that we may stand within time holding your hand, that we may know we are enough, not because of what we make of these hours, but because within these hours, with you, we are being made. Sabbath is a gift. Sabbath rest helps us to remember what God has done for us, as Lucas said. Sabbath gives us time and space to be with God and reminds us of what is very, very good. Like God, we can find time to enjoy what we have on the Sabbath day. We can delight in the gifts God has provided. So, Lucas, I wonder, what do you like about Sabbath?
My favorite thing about Sabbath is to have a day off from school and to do things that make me happy and bring me joy. I love to read books.
That's a good one. And on a day like today, I wouldn't mind reading a good book on a hammock outside under the trees. There's just so much to appreciate and notice about God from a hammock. Now, I want to tell you all, Lucas has not been my only partner in exploring this story of creation and Sabbath rest. Last Sunday, when I met with all of the kids to ask them some questions, I asked about Sabbath and why it's important for us to rest. Some of our very youngest children shared that rest helps us get energy. Rest helps us to have fun tomorrow. Rest helps us to not get grumpy. I think there's some real wisdom here. God created us and gave us great responsibility in caring for the gifts of creation. But God showed us ceasing work is part of the healthy rhythm of living in the world. I think we miss out on what is very, very good in the world when we refuse to rest. I think we miss out on what God is up to in the world around us when we don't stop working. I think we get grumpy and lose out on the joy God intends for us. Rest is important for all of creation. As children, we learn about bear hibernation and how winter rest is a part of their natural rhythm. And what about fallow ground or fallow soil? Some of you who are gardeners may know that when the ground or soil has been left unplanted for a period of time, the land itself is able to rest and regenerate. Even the ground soil benefits from a period of Sabbath rest. When the soil has a specific rest period, it can replenish nutrients which can be leached from certain plants or from regular irrigation. When the soil rests, potassium and phosphorus from deep below begin to rise toward the soil surface, where they can be used by crops later. Other benefits of fallowing soil are that it raises levels of carbon, nitrogen, and organic matter, improves moisture holding capacity, and increases beneficial microorganisms in the soil. Studies have shown that a field that has been allowed to lie fallow for just a year produces a higher crop yield when it is planted again. Rest, regenerate, restore. Sabbath opens the door to regeneration and restoration of our bodies, minds, and souls. Sabbath rest allows some of the good things deep inside of us to begin to rise up to the surface. Sabbath reminds us what God has done and what God is doing. And Sabbath creates space for true delight in our lives. Lucas, I am delighted to have shared this time with you and for your wisdom that you have shared. And I wonder, if you could teach the grown-ups something about God, what would you tell them?
I would tell them that God is important because he created everything. After creating for 6 days, God rested. God shows us what is important, and we should pay attention.
Amen.